Scale drawing, scale up or scale down. This is a digital lesson, and this one is Easter themed. It's a lot of fun for the students. They can use the fill color feature of Google Slides to create their new drawings. So the lesson starts with explaining what a scale drawing is, and then it gives students some vocabulary. So you can go over each of these with the students. They're going to start on slide 4, so they're given a rectangle shape here on the left, and they're going to scale it up by a scale factor of 2. That means it's going to be the same size but 2 times larger. Now they're going to color in these squares, so they can color in any color they like. And in order to find the size, they're just going to count the units on each side and multiply by 2. So instead of a 3 by 2 rectangle, they'll now have a 6 by 4. So to do that, they're just going to click and hold in one of the squares they want to color in, and they're going to keep holding so that they can highlight their new figure. Once they have it highlighted, they can come up here to the fill color bucket, and then they can choose any color they like. So now they have a 6 by 4. Same shape, 2 times larger. Now we want them to also look at what happens to the perimeter when they change a drawing. So here, if they count the perimeter, the units around this smaller figure, they're going to get 10 units. If they count the perimeter around the larger figure, they'll now have 20 units. So you want to point out to them what happens to the perimeter is they're going to take their original drawing and they're going to multiply the perimeter by the scale factor. Now the next one is a little bit more tricky. So this one we're going to scale up by a scale factor of 3. So each of these side pieces is going to be 3 units, or times 3. So here we've got 3 units at the top. Let's see, we'll do this. 3 units here, and then times 3, that means it's going to be 6 along the side. So they can highlight just a rectangle shape at a time. Come up here to the fill color bucket. They can choose any color they like. And then they're going to finish filling it in. So this will be 6 going across, 3 going down. And now they've scaled up by a scale factor of 3, which means the second figure is 3 times greater. And again, we're going to have them look at the perimeter. If they count the perimeter of the original drawing, it's again 10 units. This one is 30 units, and you want to point out that we multiplied the perimeter of the original figure by the scale factor. Now the next one's a little bit tricky, so you might want to start this one with the students and then see if they can finish it on their own. So this one we're scaling up by a scale factor of 3. I would start with just one of these squares here, and it's now going to be 3 by 3. And that would be equivalent to just this one square. So if we fill it in, now we're going to take this little one on the side. Again, it's going to be 3 by 3. And then see if they can figure out how to fill in the rest of it. So it should end up looking like something like this. And again, we're going to look at the perimeter. The perimeter of this smaller figure is 12 units. And you can see if they can predict what the perimeter of the new figure is going to be. It should be 12 times 3, or 36. Now, we have a little recap on slide 7. When the scale factor is 2, the perimeter of the new figure is, and they're just going to type in 2, is 2 times the perimeter of the smaller figure. When a scale factor is 3, the perimeter of the new figure is 3 times the perimeter of the smaller figure. Now we're going to move into another shape here. And this time the scale factor is going to be a fraction that's less than 1. If it's a fraction less than 1, then our new figure is going to be smaller. So we're going to take the units of each side, including the inside, and we're going to multiply by 1/2 or divide by 2. So the new figure will now be 3 around the outside, and then we'll have 1 square on the inside. and should look something like this. So that's when the scale factor is a fraction less than 1. Now the next slide, we're going to be moving these pieces into place. Just click and hold on the pieces and then you can move them. Also, they have these little blue circles on the ends so that you can make them longer, make them shorter, or you can move them to a different location. Okay, so we're going to create this same drawing. This is an arrow, and you might want to have the students start on the bottom, so it's a little bit easier than these diagonal pieces when we get to the top. So here, if we just start on the bottom of the arrow, 4 units, the scale factor is a fraction less than 1, it's 1/2, so we're going to multiply those units by 1/2 or divide by 2. So now this bottom section is going to be 2 units. These side sections are 4, we divide by 2, we're going to get 2. And you might want to make these a little bit longer. Now these little sections are 2 units. If we divide by 2, they're now going to be 1. And they can play around with these a little bit till they get the hang of how to move these. These little blue circles on the end allow them to do a lot of things. Now we get to the diagonal pieces. Well, we want to find out where the tip of the arrow is going to be. So if we count down from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 units from the bottom. If we divide by 2, it's now going to be 4 units from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the tip of our arrow will be right here. So all we need to do is just connect those pieces. And there we get the same shape, same arrow, but 1/2 the size of the original. Now we're going to be looking at what happens to area. So we know what happens to the perimeter when we scale up or scale down, but what happens to the area? So now we just have a simple square. We're going to scale it up by a scale factor of 2 so that it is now 6 by 6. Fill it in with a color. Now we're going to look at the area of the smaller square, or the original square, I should say, and it is 9 square units. The second drawing is going to be 6 by 6 or 36 square units, and you might want to ask the students how they can predict what the new area is going to be. So the new area is going to be the original area multiplied by the scale factor squared. When we're talking about area, it's going to be multiply the original area by the scale factor squared. So 2 squared would be 4. If we multiply 9 times 4, we get 36. And they've got another one to do here. Scale factor of 3, so it's going to be 3 times larger. And then see if they can predict the area of the larger square. The original is 3 units, or the rectangle. So you can have them see if they can predict what the area of the second figure is going to be. And then a recap: when the scale factor is 2, the area of the new figure is 2 squared, or 4 times the area of the smaller figure. When the scale factor is 3, the area of the new figure is 3 squared, or 9 times the area of the smaller figure. Now, when they get down to that final slide, we've got some drag and drop vocabulary, and they're just going to place these terms in the correct place in sentence frames. So to do that, they're just going to click and hold on the edge, and then they can move these into place. They can refer back to the vocabulary on, I believe it was slide 3, and that should help them with their sentence frames. They get a little nice work at the end. So this is Scale Drawings, the Easter version.